Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is a wonderful day. We are here to give you a new review, the movie of the day. I'll give you the title of that in one moment. My name is Keelan, and I am here with the fellas. What's going on, Nick? How you feeling?
Hey man, I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Can't complain. Not feeling old, but at the same time, yeah. But that's kind of where this day leads. It's a Monday, but it feels like a Wednesday, but it also feels like a Saturday. It's an awkward day for me. But Mike, how you feeling, brother?
like an old whippersnapper.
Man, get off my lawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling great today.
That's awesome to hear. See that?
Yeah.
See that? Now that's how you tell a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Not that stuff y'all been paying for on state. Never mind. I'm gonna let it go. Um, we are here to give you guys today a review. A review of something that probably should have been left on stage, but it wasn't. And here we have it for you. It's a movie called Old Man. Not the old man, not an old man, not old man up the block, not old man in the cabin, just Old Man. It's currently showing on Hulu. Go over there and check that out. It's listed as a 2022 movie, so I don't think we need to give spoiler alerts. However, hey Nick, can you help us out with the specifics?
Sure thing. Yes, it came out in 2022, and it is directed by Lucky McKee, written by Joel Veach, and it stars Stephen Lang, Mark Center, Patch Dara, and Leanna Wright Mark. And the synopsis for the movie is when a lost hiker stumbles upon an erratic old man living in the woods, he could never have imagined the nightmare that awaits. Dun dun dun.
That's interesting because all they did was imagine that. Never mind. Um,
It's also not
yeah,
about the hiker at all, really.
Nope.
but it is.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah, I know. Anyways,
Yeah,
anyways.
it's not gonna be that long.
Nope.
So yes. So yeah, we could just jump straight into first impressions because again, there's no spoiler alerts needed. The synopsis or the plot that is written out for this movie is pretty clean cut, but at the same time, it's only clean cut until about 30 minutes into the movie. So yeah, with that, that can be a part of my first take. But this movie did some things right. This movie did some things right. This movie did some things half-assed. But um that's every movie. So I don't hate this movie. This movie is very interesting. But although it had a lot of elements that I liked, like just having basically one room, even having elements like the one scene where they exited the building, the room, the building, everything, but the shot, the camera never left the same spot in which they were in at that point before they walked out of the house. Um, Things like that I felt were done very well. Uh, Nick is the guy who's going to give you guys the review on the sound, but I personally thought the sound was done pretty well. There
No,
were even some
got it right
sounds.
first time. It's pretty dud.
It was pretty
Yeah.
done, but I say it was done pretty well because I did hear everything, but there was nothing spectacular about it. Like I heard a few sounds that sound like, hey, are there things moving around? Like what? I wonder if that's an ambient sound they don't realize was left in there. Huh. But moments like that more so. So the sound I could hear it, but as far as entertaining, no, the sound was not that. So I would agree. It was a dud, but it was fresh. It was there. It was crisp. But also the styles of the shots is more so what I liked. I saw a lot of things in that I enjoyed. Um, I think so far my first impressions is given more than the movie gave as far as entertainment value. But yeah, with that, man, yeah, I'm just gonna run through this once we're done with the first impressions, because oh yeah,
Yeah.
was the end of my first impressions.
Okay, cool. Mike, what'd you think?
Greatest movie ever.
Bam, bam, bam. Project Legion 2.0. Okay.
Eee.
I wouldn't go that far.
I
Dang.
would.
Oh, Damn.
I know what happened. I know what they did to Nick. I already know what happened to Nick, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna tell you later.
About it, we'll
Right. You missed those silhouette suits.
Oh yeah, the crab walking.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
You missed the pixelated CGI scenes in the dark.
Mm.
Yes, I do.
But then
From a ring camera that was bolted to a wall.
well, this movie's not that bad, so that's why it can't be Project Legion 2.
Sure not that bad.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it didn't move me. I could smell the whole cabin. That's where I kind of landed on this. I could smell it, even though I wasn't there.
Smelled like mothballs, piss, and moonshine.
Oh, you thought it was
saliva like twice.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure I could smell the flap on his long johns. Pretty sure.
No, I just want to make it clear what I just said is I could smell his saliva.
Yeah. I get that too.
That's a lot of bacteria in his mouth.
Oh man, tons of it. But
Gets
you
a
know
little
what?
foamy at the corners. There's
like
the rabies, guys. That's the rabies.
Right. It's like getting
Definitely
kissed by your
rabies.
uncle who drink too much.
Oh God.
The rabies was in that faucet.
Oh man. And then the in-house, outhouse.
Oh, bruh.
That's what I kept
talking-
smelling.
We're talking so bad about that man's couch.
It was definitely
Hello.
a fart couch. That's
How,
So
how long did Al Bundy try to get one of those made?
So the couple episodes.
Homer got it made.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So that's my first impression of the movie.
Nicely done.
Enjoyed. Nick?
So, Nick?
Well, I'll tell you what. Back in my day, I would have never let anybody into my cabin.
That's right.
I mean, that's literally how the actor does the old man voice. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's the quintessential cartoon old man voice for at least the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie, and then
And
all
you
of a
can't maintain
sudden,
it.
you can't maintain it, and it's like gets a little bit more normal. But I thought that was a comical choice at the beginning because he was really talking, Rascal, where are you? I can't find you, Rascal. Like, bro, I know you're
Sounded just like him.
Stephen Lang is like, he's not a doddering old dude. He has a movie out called like where he plays a blind man that kills a whole bunch of people because he's super
I
like
thought that's who that was.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So it's not like he's a doddering old dude, but he played up that character so much, which I guess is like a stylistic choice because of what the story ends up being. But for the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's quite shocking because, again, he's doing that cartoon, well, I don't know, but I just can't find Rascal. It's like
the claim jumper.
Yeah, exactly. So then like the movie kind of opens up a little bit, but it never really gives you enough to be intrigued by what's happening, more frustrated by the lack of information. And then when it resolves itself, it is kind of interesting, but something that we've all seen before. And not necessarily done in a way that makes me want to rewatch it, which should be the purpose of that ending. To see if I missed anything, but I don't feel like I missed anything. So
no, they definitely tried to give you a Sixth Sense kind of
yeah, for sure.
Actually,
like hold on,
I thought it was more like Mother. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like I thought it was more like Project Legion.
Damn.
Where you find out that he's a part of a secret military operation that just makes him live in a loop over and over again.
Yeah, you could say that just without the controllers.
Right.
I just meant in the fact that it kind of loops around and it gives you this confusing storyline to follow that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then it kind of just falls off.
Yeah, what was that? The Little Things or Reminiscent?
I don't know what you
The
mean.
Hugh Jackman one.
Oh, Reminiscent.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I don't know if I saw
same
that.
camp.
Oh, that movie was
I don't
hot
know, but kind
awfulness.
of in the same ballpark where it's like he kept reliving the same memory by choice, and people like were getting locked in their memories, like paying people to lock them in their memories and shit. It was weird.
Ew.
It was stupid.
Mhm.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's all my first impressions anyway, so I think we can just jump into
Yes,
the
indeed.
flick.
Well, to paint a picture, literally as to what this movie is like, guys. The movie starts with us looking at what looks like a painting or a mosaic or even a quilt that's been framed of a waterfall, a opening, a clearing, and a cabin that's just kind of removed from society in the woods somewhere. And if you've watched the trailer already, you kind of get like, oh, that's where we are in the movie, right? But
Mhm.
the movie immediately goes straight to this old dude waking up and he's screaming for this rascal. And you think rascal's a dog or some kind of an animal he's looking for. He's all startled, but he also has blood on his hands. So, I mean, you kind of think, did he kill Rascal? Like, if Rascal's a dog, maybe he killed his dog, and
Didn't he
Right.
say
dealing with a
Rascal's a
crazy
dog
man.
though?
Yes.
Like
I
specific?
think he
Okay.
did. Yeah, I
Yes.
think he did. He said the little mutt. No, yeah, I don't think he actually ever called him a dog. He did, but he did call him a mangy mutt,
And a
which kind of.
disloyal dog.
Oh, he did
Yeah.
say disloyal dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah, okay,
And a
okay, okay.
stupid dog for peeing on his floor and all that. Yeah.
True, I remember that, which we find out later. Um,
Mhm.
he talks about eating his dog because his dog ran away. He's talking about stuffing him. You're right, he does call him a dog a few times. And he says, "Nobody leaves me, nobody." And he's talking about the dog leaving him, and it's like that's weird,
Weird.
buddy.
Mhm.
But then he gets a knock at the door, and it's this guy whose name is Joe, and
Who's
Joe was
totally
lost
not
in
a
the
serial
woods.
killer.
Totally not a serial killer, not at all. No way he was a serial killer with a huge what would that be, a Bowie knife?
No.
Just the face of a ventriloquist dummy. That's where I
Yeah.
was going with it.
I mean, he has the same. He looks like he's had the same disability that Neil Brennan has, where he doesn't have show emotion. And then he's carrying around a knife. That's
Psychopathy.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for because I really didn't know what it's called. But yeah, and then he's walking around with a knife the size of his forearm in his bag, talking about, "Oh, I don't have anything in here but trail mix and snacks." And I personally would have shot him right there for lying. You got this knife the size of a half of a bat. Like this is a Louisville Slugger with a blade in here. And you talking about, "Oh, I gotta hear his trail mix." Listen here, player.
As a
that's
resident knife guy, was it
Yeah.
that bad?
no, it's a standard size Bowie knife, but what was kind of annoying to me is that when the old man pulls it out to check it, it doesn't have blood on it.
No, it doesn't.
But then at the end of the movie, it has blood on it, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay. See, and this is kind of where my major critique is that once the ending is exposed, everything that feels like an inconsistency is just hand waved as a byproduct of what the ending is. So it's kind of hard to even nitpick at what happens in this movie because it can all just be excused away by the ending.
Well,
Mm.
and I think that's the whole point of all the confusion at the beginning. They're having partial discussions. Like they didn't finish a bunch of discussions they were having about their wives, about who they are, their background. And I thought that was intentional. For me, that kind of started giving away the point really early because it was like, why aren't we finishing Oh, okay. I see why I can understand why you wouldn't finish those stories. Both characters were telling very similar stories, but from an age perspective.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? I mean, wouldn't you recognize the story of your younger self?
Well, he literally
Not
said him.
not if you have cabin fever.
Mhm.
Well, not if you are in the situation he's in. That's basically, again, this inconsistency would be that if that, was, if you were in a conversation with your younger self and that person, described your life as a
Yeah.
younger person, would you not be like, that's weird?
That's fair. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Let's see. He wonders if his ex-wife sent Joe. Joe is welcomed into the house, but only at gunpoint. there's a power crank to crank the lights back on right on the wall, which only cranks one time, even though the power goes out like 3 times. Wonder how that kept coming back on. But he ends up questioning Joe about how he got there, who he is, if he's a killer, and is telling him that a man's only as good as his word, things like that. But kind of just trying to dominate and scare the shit out of Joe. And Joe's just going along with the program, which I also thought was weird because not at no point did Joe push back. If we're being real about it.
Well, he did have a shotgun.
At no point did Joe push back. Like there was no reason for him to treat him the way he was treating him, other than this ain't no damn Holiday Inn, son. That's it.
I guess, but that's the thing is like the problem is that we can just blame it on the ending because Joe needs to be that way in order to torture this guy.
All right. What Joe needed the restroom. He told him to use the pissoir.
Yes. Yeah.
There was a couple of moments in this movie that were funny. Like little flashes of things even. But let's see. Went to the cabin. Oh, Joe tries to run and he almost gets shot in the left butt cheek, but it doesn't happen. He just go ahead and come back on in. Gets his knife taken.
Left butt
cheek.
Then,
I mean he right butt cheek.
All right.
I mean that's a flesh wound in a movie, they say nowadays, isn't it? You can't shoot him in the calf, you can't shoot him in the arm, you gotta shoot him. It's always gotta be the most fleshy part. And that's what they're gonna do, right? That's typically.
I guess.
Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe that's what they did in the 90s. Shame on old me. But yeah, so he asked Joe consistently a few times, how did you get here? Do you like, and Joe's like, I don't know how I got here. And he's like, do you know where you are? He's like, oh, I'm in the Smokies. And he's like, yeah, 180,000 acres of woods, and you end up here. How? I thought that was a pretty good question.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great question if it was ever answered. And
it was not. I feel like
and I knew something was up right away was when the door opened to show Joe and the background was a CGI green screen. And I thought to myself, y'all couldn't even have shot on location for this, huh?
Well, you can't afford
you couldn't have had a couple trees in the background.
You think they can afford the outside, Nick?
No, I guess not. This is all on a soundstage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see. A storm starts coming in after he's taunted Joe. The old man has taunted Joe for a while. He tells him a storm's coming in and he should stay put. Joe stays overnight. During this period of time, the old man tells him about. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I just got to be honest. For a split second there, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I thought there might have been a love story about to emerge from this movie.
Wow. You thought it was going to be Brokeback Cabin?
Yes. It was specifically the scene where they're standing face to face so close to each other.
They were too close at one point. Yeah.
They were talking about how he needs to stay the night and like, now, like you should just stay over. And
there's like a storm coming in. Yeah, he was all of a sudden being super nice. He should just stay the night.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be I thought there was going to be some banjo music playing soon.
I'm just glad at no point did anybody lay down or nothing of that nature.
Yeah, me too.
You pushed him on the couch.
True.
You stay here. That's when Nick thought everything was going downhill when he got pushed off the arm onto the couch. Mm-hmm. Nick was like, "No."
I personally thought it was getting weird when he was telling the story about the Bible salesman.
Right.
That's when I thought it got weird.
That's when I thought it was going to turn into a psycho thriller.
Right.
Thought we were going to deal with something in, maybe like a B-rated American Psycho type situation. Well, no, I guess American Psycho would kind of blend with Nick was talking about what I'm talking about. So let's not say American Psycho. But essentially, nightfall comes, the storm hits. He tells Joe, "I told you so. I told you." But he asks him again if he's a salesman as well, and they start discussing why he doesn't like a salesman. And Joe just keeps on prying. After he tells him first he took the dude in the house and he loves having company. and he brought the dude in, gave him cake and coffee, and we saw the coffee water that he poured for Joe. It's like, okay, guess you ain't got no reason, no choice but to eat that. I thought there was a really nice close up as he's telling this story because he was getting in some really domineering type moments where he's like he admitted to Joe that he drugged the salesman, and then tied the salesman to a furnace or the stove, excuse me, and tortured him essentially. Just easiest way to put it, he tortured him. There's no like why go into detail. Um, excuse me. Let's see.
Because
He
the pit wall
found
was directly connected to the tap water.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
no, yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I legit thought that the moonshine jars were jars of urine. So
I thought
Yeah.
realistically, yeah, that made more sense. But I mean, he's out there; he can make some shine.
I prefer the fact that it was clear though. I'd be more willing to drink that.
yes, but there was one scene where there was like a light, like light yellowish tint to whatever they were shooting, and it kind of made the jar look like it was light yellow.
Nick said he saw an amber ale.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Now that's what I call an IPA, huh?
IPA, yeah, it's gross. Sorry, I had to do that for everybody else. It's funny either way. Oh, so he tells Joe that he had to torture the guy to find out if he was genuine or full of shit. So something I liked about this movie is I liked how the old man had this very elegant speak or speaks. You see, I'm not in that echelon. He had this very elegant dialect about himself, but at the same time, he was this grungy old dude. Which we find out again at the end, like, oh yeah, well, his wife was super piss posh, so he had to be familiar at minimum.
Oh, you mean the Banshee of Inisherin?
Yes.
His wife? Okay.
Was she in that?
No, she just looks like a banshee from Ireland.
She does.
I thought she looked dead. I thought she looked dead the very first time they showed her too.
Yeah.
I wanted to play.
But it was when Joe was talking about his lovely wife, and then all of a sudden her pale face pops up.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely angry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dragged in. Oh, yeah. So he tells Joe about the drugs. The dragon tells Joe about the drugs. He tells Joe about torturing the guy. And Joe just keeps asking more and more questions. And then they end up sitting and drinking moonshine together and opening up to one another, which I was like, what the hell is going on? But Joe also was kind of thrown off when the old man summarized his life into one sentence, which another time was a tip to me that this old man knows a lot more about Joe than Joe may think, or he understands Joe more. Joe feels like life is all against him and everything is down in the dumps, and the old man and him kind of have a moment where they kind of become friends, you know. Then they go get firewood. The camera don't leave. They come back, and after they get firewood, let's see. The camera doesn't leave the room. Oh, that's when they have the talk about the wives and everything else. And he asks him again, how did he find a place? Like, let's start from the beginning. So now they have that. This is, to me, this is the real movie. This is the real story. This is really how everything gets to where it's at. And then you're like, oh, snap. Like, you could have had this at the beginning and you still could come through the whole story the same way, but you'd have just more understanding of how we got here. So Joe tells the story of how he was going, and next thing you know, he heard a moan. That moan took him from where he was. He gets lost. It's all loud in his head. He ends up coming around, and he gets knocked out. He wakes up. He walks around a little bit after he sees a waterfall. He finds the cabin in the clearing, and that's how he gets where he is. That's interesting. Very interesting to the old man, because the old man has a very similar story about a moan and a waterfall and finding his cabin
and fighting a mountain lion.
Yeah, yeah. We find out that he fought a mountain lion. He fought this mountain lion so that he could, you know, be free because he was being held down by the oppression of the mountain lion.
What does the mountain lion mean?
That's
The
a
mountain lion was
metaphor he
how
never did.
Yeah.
I don't think it means anything. I think it's just how he covered up in his head, like tried to validate, make sense of it all. So we're basically finding out at this point that the old man, his name is Joe. He is the dude, and he's been hiding out in these mountains, Lord knows how many years. So before
Well,
I
he
even get
has
to that
who knows how
breakdown,
long.
easily
'Cause-
30 years.
Well, but I'm not 100% sure because who died first? Old man or young man?
Nobody dead. Okay,
Joe's,
wait.
Joe's
So
dead.
wait, right. So Joe tells the old man that
Yeah.
he ended up fighting his wife before he came up to the mountain. And that's when things got really bad. We see blood on the knife, and Joe ends up leaving. And as Joe leaves, we see another figure walking into the door because we never actually see Joe leave. We just see another figure walk in. We
It's the
realize this
Undertaker.
is Rascal. Yeah, the Undertaker. We realize that this is Rascal. He skins a rabbit for dinner, and you know, he ends up scaring the hell out of the old man. The old man pisses himself, and then all of a sudden things start making sense. The piss that was cleaned up on the floor earlier was the old man's piss, because this is like a Groundhog's Day situation for him.
It's a hell loop.
It's a loop.
A hell loop, yes. Particularly because Rascal is a demon that is maintaining his hell loop. And
Okay, I can run with that.
yeah. And he's just a warden that's keeping him in like this little hell loop prison.
Right.
But that still begs the question, who died first? I think
nobody died.
What do you mean nobody died?
The wife died. The wife and the dude she was cheating with died.
No, but the old man is dead. That's why he's in a hell loop. How can you be in a hell loop if you're alive?
Yeah,
That's a
it
fair
doesn't work
point.
like that.
No.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So I'm wondering who dies first, because they both have a conversation about being in the forest, hearing a moan, and then everything going dark.
He fought a mountain lion with a sharp rock.
Or the mountain lion killed him.
That's where I'm
I
at.
think the mountain lion killed him, and that's just how he killed his wife.
Or he killed his wife and then went to go hike, and then
Right.
the mountain lion
and then the
killed
mountain lion killed him. I think the story is how he killed his wife, but the moan or the mountain lion thing is the mountain lion took him out, but he thinks he killed it.
Well, then the question still is who died first, the young man or the old man?
I'm saying it's the young man.
I'm thinking it was the young man, but I don't think he died at the point in which we see him.
Right.
If we're thinking about it that way, he might have died a year or two later, a few months.
I think the old man is his withered soul.
That's a fair point.
I have a question here, Keelan. You can field it for us.
Hey, we have Siobhan Agueros. Agueros.
Hey,
did I say it right the first time? What's going on, Siobhan? Appreciate you for hanging out. I hope I did not butcher your last name too much. I tried. I really did. I'll try again if you want me to, I promise. But Siobhan's question is, so is this a horror movie or a thriller movie? It's
probably closer to thriller, but because it's not really scary.
Wait. What would you call Goosebumps?
Well, Goosebumps is filled with horror.
Yeah.
Right. For kids.
Twilight Zone. What would you call Twilight Zone then?
I think psychological
thriller-ish.
Yeah. And this is right there with that thriller.
Yeah. She also says, hi, Mike. And Keelan, you said it correctly. Good job. Nicely done.
I appreciate that. Yes, indeed. Hey, wait, there's a lot of exclamation points. She said, hi, Mike.
Yes, I just didn't want to yell into the microphone.
Sorry. See, I have absolutely no couth sometimes. It's just sad. But yeah, so this is, again, like Nick said, I was stuck on it being Groundhog's Day, but no, it makes more sense that it is a hell loop, and the cougar did kill him. He died in the forest, and that's why he doesn't know how he got there. So for 2 weeks straight, we're dealing with basically missing people cases and fictitious scenarios that are going on in the dead space of time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and an old man talking to his younger self and having to come to terms with the fact that he killed his wife.
Then he drank the Romeo and Juliet poison.
Yes, and the milkman. No, that's called exposition. exposition serum. That's what that was. Because the
Right.
audience member had to be let into what the heck was going on. So when he took that serum, it showed us what was actually happening.
Oh.
I'm just being a little bit sarcastic there, but the
I'm sitting
only
here like, you
reason
taught me something.
no, that's the only reason we know anything about anything is because he takes that magic elixir that the demon gives him so that we can see what the heck is happening. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then he says, "You're right," and that's what made it make sense that it's a demon because he does say, "I'll be back," and he
Mhm.
almost looks like a guy. He looks like he's visually between the Joe we saw and the old man Joe.
Yes, with
Kind of
like
thought that's what the situation was supposed to have been.
Yeah,
I didn't get a good enough look at his face, but I don't think it's the same guy. I
That's
no,
think
it's not the
intentional,
same guy,
though.
but I believe that that's what the insinuation is. It's a version of
right.
himself that he can identify with.
I
Probably
thought
like
that
There was
too.
an angry version of him at some point.
Oh, I thought it was I told Mike I thought it was the Stefan version of
Yeah.
him, because he was super capable. He had the rabbits,
Yeah,
he was skinning them, he was pushing the old man around like
yeah, straight up
shoving him in the locker. Uh,
shoving him in the locker.
I mean, quite literally shoves him into a trunk at some point for
Yeah,
whatever
that's true.
reason.
Yeah.
Because that's oh wow, you're right. That's why it makes
He
so
was a
much more
bully.
sense that it's a
He
hell.
was a bully.
Nah, I mean, yeah, he was a bully, but forcing him into the trunk is a form like the symbolism type shit, So it kind of just it basically fools the old man or gets the old man to just continue to go along with the facade that's going on. So he took the elixir, he gets into the box, he jumps into another dimension where things make a little different sense. Yada 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 yada.
Well, I think it's
Well,
supposed yeah, go ahead, Mike.
now I was gonna say it just shows him what actually happened and where his mind cracked.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
It's
because
a
that's what he
reminder.
told him. It's a new world.
Yeah, because like I guess some of the lore within the underworld or hell, whether you want to call it Hades, because Hades has this too, but it's like the river of forgetfulness.
Mhm.
So when you cross that river, you forget your older life. So it would make sense that he's dead because he doesn't remember how he killed his wife, and so
Right.
the formula is supposed to show him what he did to deserve this and then give him a moment of realization before he's put back into the loop, because that's like the ultimate form of punishment.
That's some scary shit right there.
It's a real
I mean, it's
uplifting
hell.
movie. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
that's a
That's the
version of
whole
hell.
point.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the whole point. Yeah.
Right.
Not sure what circle, but I don't want to know.
There you go. Another one for you, Keelan.
Siobhan
Third circle.
says, "This seems really interesting. I'm gonna have to watch this." Yeah, it's gonna be more interesting because you heard us talk about it. This is probably the most
Right.
interesting part of the movie.
That's true.
Welcome to the channel, Siobhan.
Yeah,
Honestly,
thank you.
we appreciate you tuning in. I just want to give you a very clear heads up. All of the stuff we talk about, 8 times out of 10, you're not going to see that in the episode. I mean, in the
Yeah.
movie, excuse me. But then you're going to think about it after we said it and go, oh, shit, I see where that fits.
Yep.
You're welcome. And thank you. See, that's an even trade-off to it. That's how we appreciate that. That's an even trade-off. But yeah, go check out the movie. We encourage
And
people to check out anything we review.
It also shows that we're not completely crapping on the movie because we made it sound appealing to somebody. So there we go. We're being balanced here. I like
Well, that's because every time we do these kind of movies or we would do these reviews, Keelan ends up changing the whole movie around and makes it sound better than it is.
Hey man, I do what I can do.
We talked about that.
We did. I be trying to work on
They
it.
need to hire you.
They do. I didn't have to move too much around in this one though, because it was pretty just clean cut. Either you like it or you don't. And I think we're all kind of crazy enough. I think this is going to be just like Black Phone, where it's like, and it sounds like we're on different ends of the spectrum, but our ratings are going to be in the same ballpark. I almost feel like it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Unless
I might
Nick
be a
gives this a
wild card.
2, then
I might be a wild card. Who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, no. So yeah, this basically ends with realizing that Joe is the old man. The old man is Joe. We end where we began, like this is a hour and 30-minute YouTube reel or Instagram reel or TikTok or however the hell you call it nowadays. One of those things where they go, and this is how at the end of a video, and then they go
Bruh.
such and such and such and such.
This is a 90-minute Life Alert commercial.
Ooh. Yeah.
Life Alert
Well,
for the
I
soul.
would agree with that if at the end of this movie some rescue anything showed up for him.
No, I know. I'm just trying to make it stretch because he's old.
That's fair.
It wasn't the greatest joke. Don't worry about it. I'll get it.
And the thing that I also think is funny and interesting is the most mystical thing about this movie is the allusion to something possibly being mystical about this movie. Because that was annoying. I was like, "There's no monster outside. Stop."
Yeah. I think it's kind of more about the it should be more about the dialogue between the characters, and I think that maybe if this was a play, we would get a little bit more substantive dialogue. What we get is really like a disjointed conversation where two people are talking to each other, but they're not actually connecting. They're not landing with each other in any meaningful way. And so I think that it kind of fails for that, because ultimately like the I guess the meat of this movie is supposed to be a psychological thriller about the process of getting older, about having to atone for your sins, lots of other, like dealing with death and beauty and all of this stuff. But I don't know if it does it 100% well enough for you to be like, oh, let me go watch that again, because I didn't know that these motifs were set up for this reason. Now that I watched it and I understand, is there something more that I can get from it? And I just don't think that there is in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know if they understood how to execute what they put in front of, I guess what they put in front of themselves. And a question I have, actually, without even trying to elaborate, but a question. Do you think this is one of those movies where, I don't think this movie was rewritten. I think this movie was a straight shot. Like, this is how it was written. They tried to change some stuff on scene, possibly, like, on set. But do you think this movie was inspired or has a stage or a book rendition somewhere that we're gonna find out about later? And then it's like, oh, okay, I see what they were limited. Like,
Well,
it feels
I'm
like
thinking
that,
a book.
Yeah, it's certainly either a short story or a stage play. I think I would say maybe lean more towards short story, because there isn't a whole lot of dialogue richness going on in this. It actually kind of reads a little bit. The dialogue feels a little bit like a story that's trying to get to a point, and the dialogue's just the vehicle for that. Whereas like theater is very much about letting scenarios breathe and sort of taking in the nuances a little bit more. This feels like it was a condensed piece of information that needed to get teased out into a 90-minute movie.
You're right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's probably not a 90-minute read, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, I get that. Yeah. Yeah, I could see this being like 12-pager.
Maybe. Yeah.
Done and over with. And that's because it's direct. It's so much direction, not because of dialogue. Well, that is the movie. There's really nothing to add.
Oh, you forgot. He gets put back to sleep, and then when he wakes up, he goes, "Rascal, rascal!"
Yeah, it
where
goes
are
right back
you?"
to it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We end where we start. We start where we end. That in itself was a little annoying to me, honestly. I feel like we could have gotten that from the beginning and saw that it was going to be that, and again, still get the story, and you still take a different lens to it at that point. Yeah, whatever. Missed opportunity. It is what it is. Movie's over. We've watched it.
True.
Somebody got their checks already. It's all good.
Yeah, they need to send us one.
Yeah, unfortunately, they need to. They will eventually. We're not begging. We're gonna keep doing our job, and they know where to find us.
I need to get the audio drop of "Money Please" from Parks and Rec. Money please.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say Aziz.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But yeah, so with that being said, let's get our ratings out of here. Um, Again, review wise, a lot of things that I could say I like, not many things that I didn't like, but the movie kinda didn't finish. And the the editing of old girl and her dead face through the beginning of the credits, I was so confused. I was like, all right, look, is she the torture of hell? Because I did want to say that too. I appreciated knowing like, okay, something else is going on here when he's begging his ex-wife or begging her to like, can this be over now? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I apologize. I didn't mean to do it. I could have did a different way. I'm sorry because he killed her. And it's like that's not how this works.
Yeah,
Right.
you just relive it over and over again.
Mhm. But all of that said and done, I'm giving this a 4.
Okay,
Okay.
That's it.
that's all you got.
That's
Sounds
it.
good. Mike, what about you?
I'll go get straight to the point. I gave it about a 5 because I thought it was about average. I didn't dislike it. I kind of like it reminded me of the movie Mother to a degree, where I knew something more was going on, but I couldn't really figure out what it was. And I knew once we came together, we'd probably hash it out, and we kind of did, And I love a good story about somebody being tortured in hell. Those are always entertaining.
Just
it just
for clarification, you don't mean The Mother with Jennifer Lopez, right?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I must say I think he means the one with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
not
Yeah,
not
we did
Lopez.
Jennifer Lawrence,
Not the
Jennifer
Jennifer
Garner, and
Lopez.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Lopez.
no. Yeah, for clarity, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Her movie was Dookie Snacks. The one with Jennifer Lawrence was actually pretty artistically was done really good for me, especially once I figured out what it actually was about.
Mhm.
And that's why it reminded me of that, because I knew it had to have some kind of deeper meaning. And once we hashed that out, it made me enjoy the movie just a little bit more because it made it make more sense.
Mhm.
But I can still smell that butt flap on them long johns. So
Yeah,
Bro.
Long John Sniffer.
Like
yeah, man.
skunking feet, man. That's a musty cabin.
Right. There's nowhere in that cabin did you see a shower.
Nowhere in that cabin did you see a window that opened.
No,
Man.
that's true
That's
too.
a
All that trapped in there funk.
I was about to say the wood sweats too. Pause. What is wrong with the world? You
You think he stained
no
that? Do you think he stained his
you know
wood?
what?
It wasn't
No,
even stained.
no. I'm
just
pause.
just
I'm not.
farting the
I'm not
place
doing
up.
this.
It was just lingering methane that stained the wood.
Same wood. They didn't even scorch it.
No.
They didn't put the flame to it.
Well, it's also the brimstone. That could be an excuse too, right? Because he's in hell. So
he is in hell. That's true.
Yeah, you can always blame it on the brimstone. All right. Well,
at this point, I think so were we.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on the lower end of the spectrum here and give this a 3.
Good job.
I honestly, I thought it was so poorly acted within the first 20 minutes that I was kind of chuckling to myself. Just again, the dude's like old man voice was whoa. I think the end is kind of interesting, but I really wish that there were a little bit more nuanced moments going on in the middle that would make me want to come back to this and be like, oh, I must have missed something, but I don't feel like I missed anything. So rewatchability is on the very low end. I think the payoff is decent enough, but it's something that we've seen before. I can't necessarily tell you anything particular about the cinematography because there wasn't a whole lot of that going on, at least not anything overtly stylistic. And the sound design was fine. Was there music? I don't think there was music.
No, I don't think so.
So I think
nothing
it's just
that stood out.
Right. So yeah, it's a 3. I'll make mine a 3 because it's going to end up being a 4 once we average it out. So
yeah, 12 of 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got one more here from Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Siobhan says we need to see Killers of the Flower Moon. It's really good. Is
Okay.
that the one, Siobhan? I think I might have seen that trailer. There's the Killer Book Club one, and then there's I think Killers of
No,
the
this
Flower Moon. I
one's
think that's
the-
also on Netflix, right?
No, it's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie that just came out.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I thought I heard of it.
About
Maybe not.
about the indigenous people getting their land stolen.
Yes.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
So wait. But does he play the indigenous person or the colonizer?
No. He
No,
plays,
no.
he plays one of the good whites. That's all.
Right.
I mean, but his last name is DiCaprio. Oh, I'm gonna have this conversation off air. Never mind.
Yeah, probably a safer bet.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
cool.
good.
I guess we're at a 4. Jeez, guys, Siobhan was just trying to share some information.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Siobhan. I'll check out the movie. I'm just you went further. You guys,
yeah.
bringing up DiCaprio and what it's about. I didn't know what it was about.
It's about the
find out.
first FBI investigation into like the Pretendians and people who were stealing land. No, that's literally that's
I
what
know.
it's about.
I know. I if it's one thing I know is you were speaking matter of factly. I'm just taking in new information and it made me laugh.
Yeah, because we actually talked about the movie a little bit this morning, or maybe it was yesterday morning.
Perhaps.
A
Right
little
on.
bit. Yeah.
That means it's hot topic right there. It was already rolling around in the recesses of discussion. Theo Day.
I was with the council.
Hey now. If you guys don't have a council, get your own. Don't ask no more questions. Do that.
Right. Stop right there.
But yeah, with that being said, this has been our review of The Old Man. That leaves us at about a 4, 12 out of 30. Can't complain. We did well. We came, we saw, we reviewed, you listened. Siobhan, thanks a lot for hanging out, checking in. Tell your friends, tell everybody
Appreciate you.
tell your enemies. We don't mind. Just don't argue with them in the comments, or do. We gonna laugh too. We definitely appreciate everybody for hanging out here at the Screen Time Continuum, listening to and or sharing the review that we did for you. We will bring you a new review, at least 2 each week, depending on what day it is. Sunday, Wednesday. We're always going to be here. We have another review coming for you on Wednesday. That's right. Not tomorrow, but the day after that, we'll have another one right here live.
Oh, it's my turn too.
Oh,
You guys, do I dare make you watch Slaughterhouse?
oh God.
I saw that one.
Do I dare?
I saw that
Do
trailer.
I dare make you watch Slaughterhouse?
saw
I
that
think
trailer.
we're gonna do it.
We can.
All
Hey,
right,
look,
cool.
just know I'm probably the only person on here who actually believes that a sloth can tear you to shreds. Everybody who I know goes, sloths are so slow. And I'm just like, do you realize how deadly sloths are? Never mind. If you don't know, you don't know.
Awesome. We are gonna watch Slaughterhouse.
We're definitely watching Slaughterhouse. Good job.
And that is on Hulu, I think,
Hulu.
right? Yes.
That
So
come
you
on,
guys-
if you didn't think that was a Hulu movie, then what did you?
Yeah.
That's
So, if you want to watch with us, that's what we'll be reviewing on Wednesday.
yes,
For
indeed.
sure.
Be sure to tune in here on Wednesday, Screen Time Continuum. We will be reviewing Slaughterhouse right here for you because we move slow like a sloth does. But speed back up and do me a favor. Check out your screen. Let your friends know. Take a screenshot. Right here is the time, the place. If you're only listening to us, hey, go ahead and check out all your major platforms. I'm going to give you some names right now. You can start on Twitch with Strawberries and Coffee and King_of_Ilion over on Twitch. Check out on, again, all of your major platforms, anywhere you listen to your shows for If Numbers Could Talk. Screen Time Continuum. That's right here where you are. Hey, we appreciate you. The Exofathom. In this married moment, we're always going to be here for you every week. Every week, we have at least a new show up for you somewhere, here, there, everywhere. Who knows? But check us out here on the Screen Time Continuum and all of our partnering shows for the Screen Time Continuum. My name is Keelan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Mike.
We appreciate you guys, and be sure to share, like, subscribe. Tell an old man or two that you love them before they, start threatening you. I don't know what the point of this movie was.
Speak up, Sonny.
Bone.
I can't hear you.
Speak up, Sonny.